What's up? I'm Ben Camp, and this is
As Good as It Sounds.
Now we're going to talk about finding titles. Do you ever have problems coming up with your song titles or wish you had ways to generate dozens of them at the drop of a hat? Great! We're about to look at a few ways to go from blank page to brimming with title ideas in just minutes. The first way is a game called Title Avalanche. It's super simple. First, you start with the title of a song you love, all about that bass. Then you pick one word at random for the title. We'll go with bass. And we write the first line that comes to mind using that word. B is for the bass. Then we pick another word and write the first thing that comes to mind. In this case, I choose the word for from B is for the bass and wrote, what's love for? Then I took what's and made it what comes next. You don't have to be too strict with the rules. The idea is just to get your pen to the paper and keep it flowing. If you're worried that what you're writing isn't good, as my old professor Pat Pattison said, don't be afraid to write crap. Crap makes great fertilizer. Another great way to generate titles is by working with familiar idioms. Now, one of your primary jobs as a songwriter is to connect with your listeners' emotions. And idiomatic expressions are great for this because they already have tons of emotional weight baked into them. Almost everyone who hears blood runs thicker than water already has an emotional response to it, and they're just waiting for your song to tap into that response. If you don't have any idioms at hand, just do a quick Google search for famous idioms or idiom site and find a few that you like. Then you can use them as is, or you can mess with them. You can shorten them to turn don't bite off more than you can chew into more than you can chew, or blood runs thicker than water into thicker than water, or a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush becomes a bird in the hand. And then you get to see how you can recolor these phrases. Or you can lengthen them so that fool's gold becomes finding fool's gold, or out on a limb becomes dancing out on a limb, or cold as ice but hot as hell. Or you can swap out words so that a fool and his money becomes a fool and his honey, or a fool and his fire, or at the drop of a hat becomes at the drop of a heart, or at the drop of a tear. And when you're renaming them, remember what we were talking about with sonic qualities. Try aiming for things like alliteration and rhyming in your new titles. One of my favorite phrases for any kind of artistic endeavor is from Picasso. Good artists borrow, great artists steal. There are tons of great titles all around if you have your antenna up looking for them. Let's take a look at a few great sources. The newspaper. Pause the video, read this article, and try and find 3 phrases that you think would make good titles. Cool. Did you find any? My favorite was a student who saw tangled red wires and ended up turning it into a song about being in a relationship that felt like a time bomb that she was racing to defuse, and that her veins felt like tangled red wires around her heart. Another great source is movie titles. A good movie title is succinct, hints at a story, and makes us want to find out more. Those same traits work wonders for a song title. Also, try checking out some book titles. Books, unlike movies, don't even get the benefit of a trailer to grab your interest, so they've got to be good at coming up with titles to grab your attention. Just take a walk through the library and see what kind of titles pique your interest. Alright, before you go on to the next video, pause the screen, find a couple titles that grab your interest, and then pick one of them that's your favorite, and see how many different background stories you can come up with for a song with that title. How many different ways you can tell that story. Until next time, I'm Ben Camp, and this is
As Good as It Sounds.